Hello there. This is Splendid-ish, and I'm going to make a Beyond All Reason eco guide for All That Glitters. We're going to try and focus primarily on the T2 shop, but I will say this is certainly far and away an example of when everything goes right. The wind was rarely cruel and good at times. The front never failed. There were no leaks. The front cooperated tremendously. I think I got 4.5 donations for T2 cons before 5 minutes. But we are going to... So this is everything goes well and we win and huzzah for that. But I think it's going to show off why we try and do these things so that we leave ourselves the opportunity for things to go well. So, first and foremost, we have the big eco principle. When we have energy, we want to be building energy expensive things. And when we don't have energy, we're going to build more wind. And that's going to be very efficient. So, we're going to start out with one Lazarus who goes and eats, I like to eat, like the safe third of the map in Reclaim, and then I tell it to come back home because I don't want to pay attention to it, but I also don't want to lose it. I like using it later. And we're going to have these long wind queues. I don't have enough wind queued up, but and then we're going to make efficient modifications, either for more energy or using the energy that we have based on the conditions. So, what are we doing? We're queuing up wind. And then we build these 3 workers that come and build a mechs, and then they build wind. Build a mechs, and then build wind. When we have energy, our commander focuses on building the worker because that's energy expensive. And then he goes back to building his wind. And so I have so much energy even here that I make the decision to insert again a con turret. Let me take a quick pause. Spacebar is the insert command, and the N key, I think, is the default next command. Or at least that's how I have it bound. And so what that lets us do is it let me make this queue. I queued up the mechs, and then I hit ZC to get to windmills, and then I held Shift and Alt in order to make up this area windmill command. And then I did it again, and I held ZC holding Shift, and then I went down the middle and I ate out this, and that makes a nice little column, 2x2 columns, and that's great. And then I like to eat away the middle so that I have room to get to it from the sides, but that's just, extra APM that you don't need to spend. But it was nice that I had so much energy that I got to start this con turret with a insert build con turret command. And then I just hit N, and I went right back to that build queue that I already had set up. Great. And so this gives the commander the opportunity to build this very energy expensive thing while I have the energy. The second Lazarus pops out and immediately eats the factory. And then he's going to eat the solar, and then he's just kind of going to sit there and wait to eventually eat the commander. As he's eating the factory, the 4th worker is going to pop out, and he's going to be the infrastructure worker, building that second con turret, although in this game I'm going to build 3. The second e-storage, the T2 factory. And if we don't have enough wind, he'll always delay whatever the next energy infrastructure is to help out building wind wherever he is. But wind happens to be very good during this minute of transition, so that doesn't happen here. Similarly, even though our goal is to get to our 25 plus wind, 2 con turrets, 2 e-storage, and we have 28 wind, and we've just finished our second e-storage, and we have all of the energy banked, so we're good to go. But if we didn't have this energy banked, I'd just build a couple more wind with the commander, get to a higher count, and then, I will have the energy banked in a second. Delay it 10-15 seconds if the wind isn't as good. But here we are. I like to make 9 T2 constructors and then a bunch of butlers. And so that way, I get to give out 7 to the 7 teammates, ideally. And then I have 1 at home, and then 1 that's kind of expanding or maybe helps the front building some T2 pork or whatever. And so here we go. And again, this is absolutely astounding. Look at this. I also mess up the micro here. I should have had this con turret working here. I definitely overflowed some metal. Don't do that. Do as I intend, not as I do. But I have a T2 con out at 5 minutes. And here are the 2 different chains of actions that you need to do in order to achieve this in a relatively easy way. While the T2 constructor is in the shop, you queue up to build a mechs of your own, and then you area command the allies base. Boom. Well, it doesn't do that because I don't have the ability to command it. And then when it starts the mechs, you hit the end command to hit next. Now it goes on its mission to mechs the allies base. You give it to that ally, and then you transport it to that ally. And it sounds like a bunch of steps, but you kind of get the flow of it. Oh, and then you shift your transport to come back to base, so it's close by and not on the other side of the map. And this way, you're going to effectively turn give you the opportunity to have those con turrets building an advanced mechs. Maybe have an advanced mechs that's kind of being held for later. I mess up the micro here again. These con turrets are going to start focusing this, and they should definitely finish this and then focus this. Maybe this con turret should be holding, these 2 should be working. Yep, and I mess it up here. Well, in a second. But regardless, my bad micro aside, you should be ideally trying to work on 1 mechs, have maybe a mechs that's ready to be worked on when this one's done, and then giving away your T2 constructors immediately. Because we are the factory. We can always make another T2 constructor. That starting a T2 mechs should only take us a couple of seconds at any given time. Because the next constructor will pop out, we'll start a mechs, then we'll give it to another ally. And this way, we're kind of taking the first donations and we're adding a little bit of greed so that we start getting more metal per second. Instead of popping out their constructors immediately, we're getting their constructors a little bit slower. But then we have the metal income to donate those heavy metal dense constructors to the allies that couldn't or didn't pay us at the end. So it kind of balances out. You can get all of your team building T2 constructors at 9 minutes, and you'll have your T2 economy going. I could have definitely done this 30 seconds, 60 seconds better with the conditions as they were. But I think that this is going to be better than the average glitters, at least in the 10 to 30 range. So I hope that this can help people. It can show, or at least give it a framework for how to do this. And you can absolutely practice this on your own. You can become a master at this without losing a single OS by going into skirmish mode, and then turning on cheat commands like this. This would turn on cheat commands. Oh, it does in the replay. But so this way, you can turn on the cheat commands and then give yourself the medal in order to simulate allies that and they struggled and didn't get a lot of donations, so they are working with 11 advanced mechs or building, but our nice and efficient total is 21, and we have all 8 players building by 9 minutes. We have all of ours building and about to be done, and at this point we can kind of do whatever we want. We can get our I like to get a fusion and then either be building advanced mechs on the front to help out struggling players, or you can just do normal APHIS scaling, or you can spam hounds if your front is really struggling. Add a T1 factory for spam and reclaim, and away you go. Lots of roads to victory. Anyway, please shred this to pieces. Tell me how I can make this better and more information, dense or more understandable or something. I will accept comments of more math, but not less, because at the very least, I like the math and I can give you the top lines to benefit from. So, good luck out there. See ya.